Shall we get started?
Yeah, shall we get started? Fantastic. Okay, well, hello everyone, and welcome to our Q&A focus group on how we can make your email marketing easy and affordable using the dotdigital platform. My name is Elizabeth Carter, email marketing manager, and what I'll be doing in this webinar is to give you an insight into some of the main features. I'll also be giving you a better visual aid by diving into an account and showing you this live. And we'll be talking about non-profit package and some of the common challenges that charities face with their email marketing. So alongside with me today, I've got my colleagues Alice and James. You can see their happy smiling faces. And I'll just ask them to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Alice Roche. I'm the Head of Operations at Charity Digital. So I help charities register with us so that they can place orders through our transactional site, getting access to discounted and donated tech. So yeah, I'm quite close to the charities and helping them be more digital. And I'll pass over to James.
Hi everyone, I'm James. I'm the e-commerce manager here at Charity Digital. So I'm in charge of anything product essentially. So anything new that comes on board, I'll be the person that gets it onto the site and then communicates that to our charities to let them know that we have a new discount available. And yeah, just anything to do with product, that's what I do. Alice and I will be helping out today just to ensure your questions get heard and that the session runs smoothly. But I'll now hand you back over to Liz, who will run through some house rules.
Yep, will do. Thank you so much, Alice and James. So this is our actually second sort of type of Q&A session, and we like to do it a bit more face-to-face than a normal webinar. And so normally we would invite you to ask your questions after the presentation, but I would like to make it a little bit more interactive. So if you want to be asking some questions throughout, please feel free to do that. I'll also sort of stop at poignant points as well throughout the webinar, and you can just raise your hand with the feature in Zoom, or I can see some faces on there as well, so you can just maybe wave to us or put it in the chat, and that would be great. Now, we've got quite a few on the webinar, I can see. It'd be really nice if you could just say where you're coming from, your organisation and your location. That would be fantastic, just so that we know who's on board with us. Just want to remind you that the webinar is being recorded, and the slides and supporting resources will be available, including any questions and answers, next week on our website. And we'll let you know when these are ready by email as well. So once the webinar ends, you will be prompted for feedback, and we would really appreciate if you could take just a few minutes to share your thoughts, as we just love to hear your ideas, and we need to really know how we can continue to help your organisation improve. So thank you in advance for doing that. Right, let's get stuck in. Okay, so the first question I want to pose is, why should you be using email marketing? Okay, and I'm just going to go over and just throw out some stats to you. Why it's important. First of all, there are 4 billion daily email users. But did you know that 3 times as many email accounts as Facebook, Twitter combined? So there are quite a lot of email accounts out there, and 99% of email users check their inbox every day, with some checking it 20 times a day. I'm not one of those. I don't check it that often, but that's quite surprising actually. And more than, well, 58 of those actually check it first thing in the morning. More than 8 out of 10 people will open a welcome email. So those are really important. And 77% of marketeers have seen an increase in email engagement over the last 12 months. And it's expected really that email marketing revenue is going to reach a staggering 11 billion by the end of next year. So let's just have a look at the reasons why. Okay, we've looked at, obviously, you know, everybody is using it, but why should we as charities be using it? And I've just put down a few here. Okay, it improves your growth. So successful emails can really increase funding, greater awareness, a wider reach. It's simple. It is really simple, honestly, and cheap, depending on who you go with. But what we are offering is quite cheap. And does remain one of the most effective marketing methods. It's the quickest way to engage with your donors and generate campaign funds. And it's actually 54% of donors prefer to donate online. So sending out those emails with easy links to donation pages allows them to do this, unlike other channels such as social media, when your messages arrive in the inbox and you decide. With email, you can decide what is relevant to you and what content is relevant there. It's personal and efficient. There's nothing that beats, obviously, a one-to-one conversation, and the email marketing is the next best thing. It does increase funding. It builds your credibility and your brand recognition, and it creates a unique and trusted voice, which your donors and new supporters can have confidence in. And it saves time and better performance, especially when you're using tools like automation, scheduling your campaigns. And organizations are 6 times more likely to get a click-through from an email than they are from Twitter. So now we'll come to the question, what is email marketing for nonprofits, and how does dotdigital and charity digital fit into all of this, and what's the relationship? Well, some of you might have been with us for quite a few years now, and Charity Digital Mail was previously known as TT Mail, and it started over 15 years ago and was one of dotdigital's first resellers for the charity sector. And we really wanted a platform whereby we could offer a powerful solution to charities and help them out by offering discounted rates if they came through us. Dotdigital works well. The data is stored in the EU region and not in the US. The platform is ISO 27001 certified, which really relates to information security management system. And it uses 3 forms of email authentication. All of these protocols use the DNS, which is the domain name system. So there's no qualms really over the email authentication to verify the legitimacy of the emails that the platform is sending out. Now, non-for-profits for email marketing with Charity Digital, well, as our name suggests, we are here to help charities and to offer a slightly more cut-down version of the dotdigital platform to make the price more accessible to mainly small and medium-sized charities. I think we do find that our bigger charities don't really need all the bells and whistles, and our non-profits package we offer with it sort of a credit bulk system. So you buy up front for the year, and then you can send out your emails and use up your credits as and wish you want to. So that gives you the flexibility, and you're not tied into sort of monthly bands. Neither do we charge for uploading your contacts or a license fee. And actually, at the moment, we are offering free email credits if you opt for a support package. We do offer great support. I'm your account manager, and we've got a lovely support team. And we also aim to tailor the support to each individual organisation's needs and requirements. We do understand the charity sector. I think we can pretty much be proud of ourselves on that. We're in it, we understand it, and so we do the possible to help you with that. Does anyone have any questions before I sort of dive into something else? No? Okay, I'm going to then. So this is what I've just mentioned now, and I just want to go over some of the things. Like I said, it is a cut down version. So these are the things that our actual non-for-profit can't pass on to charities, which is AMP, and it's accelerated and mobile pages. I really don't know a lot about this, but I just know that it's for emails that builds on an AMP format and applies to the email, and it won't show for all your contacts, and it only works with supported AMP clients, and it also has to be approved by Google. Transactional, obviously we all know what that is. When you send out an individual recipient an email following a commercial transaction, e-commerce, plugins such as Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics, Facebook audience, and external dynamic content, which lets you pull in and populate campaign content using external URL links. But what we want to come on to is actually looking at the best features of the dotdigital non-for-profits package here. And if you can see the list down here, I've just started. And this is what we'll be going into now. We'll be having a look at these ones. Obviously, there are a lot more features, but we don't have time to cover all the features in this webinar. So I'll just be showing you the following. And to do this, I'm going to switch over screens, and I'm actually going to go into the dotdigital platform with our charity digital branding. So just bear with me just for a second. And I'm just going to put that down there. And can everyone see here? Yeah, we can all see that. Great. So I'm just going to go over, not necessarily in order, okay, but I'm just going to whiz over some of these features so you can see it in action, okay? So if I actually, this is your dashboard, and I won't explain absolutely everything, but on the left-hand side, you do have additional features that you don't necessarily have to have. But if you wanted them, then you can use them, and they do have additional monthly charges, but not everybody that uses email marketing wants, for example, the SMS and everything included in that. So what I've got here, I'm just going to go into now. Okay, it's going to go into an actual template so you can see it working. And it's got a drag and drop editor system. Now the templates are made up of groups. They drag and drop, oh, that's a bit of a mouthful, building blocks here. And we've got our build here, and we've got our styles, and the build allows you to add building blocks and images, and the styles allows you to apply styles such as background colors and overall color themes, etc., etc. So can you see that everything is in its elements just there? Now, in your building blocks, you've all sorts of things that you can be using and you can be dragging over. So I've got sort of 2 columns there, and you can insert your buttons, PayPal.
As Liz disappeared.
Okay, we'll chase her now.
Let's see where it's at. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions so far? This would probably be a good time to get some of them.
Sorry, Alice. Question. How does it integrate to Donify and some of the CRM systems?
I will write that down.
So is it quite an easy integration into a donor management system, like Donify or whatever? Yeah.
I have noted that down. Thank you, Neil. I'll make sure that when Liz comes back, we get that answered. Okay. Has anybody else got any questions?
Sorry, so technical side again, is it something that's integrated into Microsoft 365 in terms of, how your system would? So I'm just saying that most small charities or whatever will have an ecosystem of different elements, and it's about how it can be all connected. So that would be my key question.
Yes, integration is the key word, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So is anyone on this call an existing charity that already uses dotdigital, whether that's through us or with them directly?
Nope.
No. That mostly people that are interested in potentially using it, or how email marketing generally can improve engagement. Oh, excellent. Carly said us as of yesterday. That's great news.
Great timing.
Yes, Liz is our expert. Oh, she's just popped.
And here she is.
Oh, that's really good to hear. Carly just said it's really easy to navigate. There's nothing worse than software being, you feel like you need a whole manual book to work out how to use it.
I'm so sorry. My Mac just crashed.
Why wouldn't it? You're hosting
Why
a webinar.
wouldn't it? I'm just hosting a webinar. Why not? Could you, I'm so sorry, everyone. Could you put me back on sort of a host so I can share again?
You are the host again.
So I can share? Okay, perfect.
Yeah. We've already gathered some questions so that we can run through those at the end, Liz, if you want to keep running through your demo. But
okay,
the first couple of questions we've had is about integration. So does it integrate with Microsoft 365? And how does it integrate with other CRM systems, perhaps Donify?
Yeah, I'm just going to tackle those and then I'll carry on if that's okay. Yeah. The dotdigital platform is an open source platform, so you can actually set up any API connections that you wish. You talked about the Microsoft in particular, and that was Dynamics, right? That is something that you can create a connection for if you have the know-how at your end. There's a massive development hub and all the information is in there on the dotdigital side. And what we do, we'll actually post the link there. Dotdigital do a plugin themselves, which is one that we can't resell onto charities, which what I said was sort of that's one of the things that's not included, the plugin there. And probably your best bet would be, if you wanted more information on that, just to contact dotdigital. But we will put a link and you'll see that all of the API sort of links are there. Donify is a difficult one. We've got quite a few clients that do use Donify, and some have been very successful in creating connections with that. So if the person who asked me the question about Donify just wants to get in contact with me afterwards, then I can take it up with you, then that would be fantastic. There isn't a special plugin for Donify, although Donify says that there is. I had a client recently that was connecting up with Donify, and you can just do that by going to here. I'll just show you, and going to your access. And then we can have a look and create API users here. Okay, so you can create your API, then you can give all those credentials over to Donify, and then you can set it up that end with them. Does that answer the questions for that?
Thank you, Neil. I have noted your email address down and I'll pass that on to Liz after.
Great, I've actually got it in the last slide, so I will show that. Okay, so let's crack on, and I do apologise again for suddenly crashing. Okay, so we were talking about the building blocks here, and as you can see, we've got our images, we've got everything else in. You can drag over your videos, you can drag over your social content as well, so your sharing and your social links and your dynamic content, which I'll actually move on to in a minute. Let's talk about the responsive templates, because actually within the platform you can create any templates and you can start from scratch. And there's also one for a mobile version, so it's sort of a rebooted one. And they're designed to look good across all of your devices. And as a result, sort of your building blocks sort of contain various CSS styles, so they render well on everything there. What I just want to show you is with regards to your mobile. So if I just grab this column here, and then I go to my styles and I go down to my display content. So we can have the visibility here. You can just show that part on your mobile or just hide it for your desktop. Or vice versa, or have it on all devices. And you can also preserve the image sizes on there, and you can decide whether you want to stack that content or not. So at the moment that would be stacked, but you could leave it unstacked and have it side to side. And then obviously we can go to our preview and we can have a look to see how that displays on mobile version, and we can go to our portrait there. So if you didn't want this on your mobile version, this is obviously really, really handy to have at your pre-header. And that's what actually you see when it comes into the inboxes, but you can hide that and on your desktop as well. So what I said was we can talk about dynamic content, but anything that you really, really like and you think, oh gosh, I really enjoyed putting that in and I really liked what I did there, you can just go over and you can store it in your custom template building blocks, and you can give it a name. And it's just a quick click of a button. You can have a look at your custom building blocks and you can drag over anything that's been saved in there. So that's easy reach. Now, let me do dynamic content. So I'm just going to drag this over here. This is a really nice feature. And with dynamic content, okay, so it lets you tailor your email campaign. So for different groups of your contacts will receive different content and different offers or different images. And you can have a campaign that goes out with multi-targeted messages for different groups of supporters or donors. And each message is different and it's set on a base of rules. So if you can just see here, you've got a default and you've got a variation. And the default is actually the content that when you don't want any of your contents to see the rules. The variation means that you can create different blocks with the easy editor and for a new variation there. So that brings up that there, and here's where you can create your rules as well. And I would say that quite a few charities are using this. It just, instead of copying again your campaign, you're just sending out one campaign that's got different content to different audiences there. Now, personalization is a biggie and it's really, really easy to use. So if I just wanted to personalize this email, then I could go up to the top and I would just click on my data fields here and it brings it up on the right-hand side. You can personalize also a subject title. So if you, this is your content, you can do your title as well. When you've got no data available for that data field, then you can insert whatever you wish. So supposing I didn't have all my first names, and I could say, dear friend, dear supporter, whatever you wish with there. And obviously the personalization will depend on what you create within the system. And you can have I think it's probably a couple of hundred of data fields that you can just create. And depending on the information that you want to bring in and the data there. So just a very, very quick look over your styles. Obviously, you've got all sorts of things that you can be playing around with. It's really intuitive. And the good thing about it is if I go to my utilities here, then I can actually edit my HTML coding, which I do quite a lot actually, because I'm that sort of person. But you can also sort of have a look at the stats. You can do a spam check. You can restore back to a previous version, and you can have a look at your links as well. You can manage your styles and style those headings and your font. And anything to do with your email campaign. You are a bit limited. I always have to say to everyone, it's not like creating a website. Email marketing is still in its stone age, so you will be limited to the types of fonts that you can use, and that will render well on all email clients there. So this is your HTML version, and then it's just a click of a button. If you wanted to generate your plain text, you can send yourself tests all the time and click that, and then just do whatever you have to do to tweak it so it looks really nice. Before I move on, did I have any questions with regards to the Easy Editor?
So we had a question which was actually kindly answered. About the option to add alt text to images, because we have some from a sight loss charity. So I was just wondering if you could run through showing us how to do that, Liz.
Yep, I was actually going to come to that at the end as well, but that's a really great question. And if you just click on that button, you go up to your image title, and there it is. I was going to cover just a little bit on this. but it is a necessity, especially when you're dealing with, well, I think for every charity, when they're setting up their emails, they have to put that image title in there. And even a link title, because the screen readers read out everything. So if you've got a link title, then they know what that link refers to as well. So that's really, really easy to do. Click of a button, you've just got your image title, and you can put your link over there as well. So we can link to all sorts of things, anchors, documents, your emails, your phone, and really easy to put the title in. Any other questions on the Easy Editor?
One, which is, do you have a template, Excel, etc., that you can download and add all of your recipients' emails, names, so that the data fields match when you upload them?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, some of the data fields, this will be, I'm just going to save this. Okay, so this will be under all contacts here. What I've got is I've got an address book that I actually set up this morning. So you would click on the blue new address book there. You would upload your Excel or your CSV file. Depending on the names that you've got for your columns, that will match up automatically. Some of the ones you will have to map up. Okay, so you give it a title there, and then the next screen is the mapping up process. So yes, go back to here again. These are your contact data fields. These are the default ones, and you can create as many custom data fields ones as you wish. So the system pretty much does it automatically for you, but if there's a name that it doesn't recognize, then you will have to just put the mapping in yourself.
Fab, thank you so much, Liz. And then I think we have a couple more, but I think we should save one of them for the end, which is comparing dotdigital and MailChimp, just because I think that's a really good end of discussion chat.
Yeah.
We will come back to that, don't worry.
Yeah, we will.
But there is one about adding an attachment to your email.
Yeah, okay. I'll just quickly show that, because that is one that is frequently asked. So if I just want to add an attachment, suppose into this button here, I would go over here. And then can you see a link to a document? You would upload your document, and then you would just choose it accordingly. And attachments don't get caught up in spam filters. There is, however, a limit to the attachment. So if you're finding that it's not uploading, you're probably exceeding the limit, and you just want to reduce the document that you've got in there. Yep. Shall I move on?
Yes, yeah, let's move on.
Okay, great. So as you can all see, it's really easy to set up a campaign there. And let me just move over to another feature, which is automation. So if we go here, automation is a really powerful tool, okay? You can set up schedule actions for the future. You can set up programs. You can set up default autoresponders. If someone replies back to your email, you can set up triggered campaigns, say for a thank you campaign. So there's lots of things that you can do with this. I'm not going to show you how to set up everything, but I will go into the programs here. And the program builder is a really nice feature. Now, I've chosen a bit of a complicated one, but don't be scared off by this, because I just wanted to sort of show you that on the left-hand side, there's all sorts of different actions and you can do. Now, this builder features nodes and actions and delays and decisions and endpoints, and it links up with connectors, and it's sort of enroll contacts. You can schedule how you wish the contacts to be enrolled there. And you can create it as easy or as complicated as you wish. So you've got all sorts of nodes down here. Throughout the journey, you'll be able to see the amount of people that are on each node, and you can actually sort of get a list of the contacts there. And also the emails that are being sent out, you will be able to view those in the reporting, which is now moved to here, the analytics. And so, yeah, what I say to my clients always is, when you're coming to use the automation, we just need a separate training on it. And it's just a bit of hand holding at the beginning, just to get yourself set up, and then just watch it turn over, as it were. You can change any email content within the automation once it's active. And if you wanted to actually pause the automation and sort of move the nodes around and do whatever, then you can do that. And then you can restart it again, and you won't be losing those people in there. They will just be kickstarted into the next node. So any questions on your automation there?
We don't seem to have any so far, but we can take a minute.
Perfect. Okay, so what I want to talk about is another feature here, and this is your A/B testing. And this is a split testing function which enables you to test several variables within your campaign, such as subject lines, friendly from, and your content. Even your email from address, you can do that. And you can do this very easily by when you set up your new campaign, or if you set it up, you can go back in and you switch on that one there, and you can enable it. So each version of your campaign is analyzed to determine which is performing the best. And when you come to send it out, it will send out a small percentage just as a sort of a test, and then it will, the platform will judge what has been the best performing one, and it will send out the rest of your data to the one that has sort of won, as it were. You can have different sample data, so you could have sort of a simple percentage. You can select the number of hours, and you can also select the metric that you want to test out, whether that's an open, whether that's a click, or whether that's an ROI there. So that's a really, really nice feature. And any questions on it? No? Okay, let's move on. So let's now go over. I'm just going to whiz over to another feature, which is send time optimization. And I'm going to click on as if I'm going to be sending this campaign and come to my next screen here. So you can send your campaign using your segments, and I will go over that, and using marketing preferences, or using an address book that you have recently uploaded. Now, if I just go to a last modified one that I've got here, you can see this one. But I just want to show you this one here. So if you're using this, the send time optimization just gives you a little bit of a note there what it is. It ensures that your sent emails are sort of timed to reach inboxes when they're most likely to be read. Okay, so when sending an optimized campaign, you can either send it immediately or you can schedule it on a time and a date. So if I'm using my scheduled, then it starts sending the campaign at the scheduled time and date, but it optimizes the time of the individual send to maximize the engagement based on the contact's history and the previous click behavior as well. So that's a nice feature there. And I'm going to move on to segmentation if we don't have any more questions, which is under our contacts here. As you can see, there's quite a few other features that I can go over as well: signups, marketing preferences, but suppress contacts, so you can view all the people that have been unsubscribed, hard bounced, ISP complainers and everything. But just let's go into segments here. So this is a really nice tool. I think I set one up for training. Just let me have a quick peek there. Training 7, but that's okay. Let's do a new segment. So email segmentation lets you divide your contacts up into smaller targeted segments. Okay, let's just call it E. And you can choose different types of templates for that. So you can use your segment to cater for specific campaigns, to your contacts' needs, your wants, maybe their passions, what they really, really like to hear about. And you can use down here your, based on the past campaigns, your contact behavior. So whether they responded, interacted, the data that you hold for that person, and the sources, whether that's through an address book or through a preference as well. So it is just a drag and drop as well. And let's say, have they opened up a campaign within a certain time, within a certain day? or have they opened up a certain link within a campaign over the last 6 months, etc.? Have they donated over £50? Are they based in London? So really, it depends on your audience there and how far you would like to target them. Also, we've got geographical queries as well with our segments. And if you want to target a particular postcode or an area, then we can create our geographical hotspot, let's say. And if you're doing a special event, say that's up in Scotland, it's just taking time to download. Sorry, I think it's because I'm hosting and also sharing lots of things. Then we can actually scroll over, we can grab those people that are in that area, then we can create an address book and see, or Northern Ireland, see who is in there. Have we got any other questions before I move on, Alice and James? No?
No, I don't think so. You must be giving such a good demo that you're answering them all.
Brilliant. Now, I did actually put on my slides that are Builtin CRM, but I sort of want to qualify that because I do feel it is, and lots of small charities are using it as such. It is, dotdigital does serve as a hub for organising and making sense of your valuable audience data and insights. And you can do that through the segmentation tool, which I've just shown you, or through contact data or insight history. So there's lots of different things that you can do. Obviously, it's split up. This is where it gets a little bit different from MailChimp, your MailChimp users. The segments are different. We've got address books. You can store them in sort of your folders there. I'm just going to look on the last modified, and I'm just going to go into, sorry, it's just coming up again. Okay, so let's go into this one here. Obviously, I'm going to go into my own email address, so there's no issues there. And you can use your display option and just bring up all the data fields that you want to see for that person. And then we can go straight in, which is me. And the data fields that we've got here, am I in any marketing preferences? Yes, I am. Is there any insight data for me? Just a little. Let's have a look at my activities. So I haven't been sent any campaigns in the last 30 days. What address books am I in? Am I segments? Yes, I am. Am I in any programs? No, I'm not. So it is a really nice tool to use for all of your contacts. As I said, we don't charge for uploading a contact. So my recommendation would be upload everything and target as much as possible, because you really don't want to be mass mailing. I'm going to go over to the reporting suite if there's no other questions on that. No? Okay, so the reporting suite, it used to be up here, reporting, but now it's changed to here, and it's analytics. So a reporting suite here. Okay, so it's divided into 5 sections, as you can see. Down there, we've got engagement, interaction, delivery, and contacts, and they provide key statistics and graphs, including indications of increases and decreases. You can change the time set over here. That's in the last 7 days, which really doesn't help us. So I'm going to move that and just click on apply, just there. And down at the bottom, you can actually scroll into each one, so you can be far more targeted. Down at the bottom, we've got our marketing popularity here, which gives you a breakdown of the marketing preferences if you're using those. Okay. Now, with the reporting, obviously, this is an overview, and you'll probably be asking, what do you want to do when you actually want to scroll into your individual ones there? So if I go into my dashboard, and reports here, email. So I can choose any email that I've been sending out here. And then I can bring up a full report, which will actually show me a drop-down list of hot bounces, of unsubscribes, of everything that I want to see within that email. and I can see all the email addresses. I'm not actually going to go into that because we are using my account. I don't want any email addresses to show there. But the report is, I would actually say it's probably a little bit better than MailChimp because it goes into a lot more detail. You can actually see literally everything. You can see your split testing, which one is won, which one is clicked on, your split test subject title, if you wanted to do that. So yeah, you can have a look at what version people are using, what browsers, and everything to do with your reporting there. Are there any questions? I'm conscious of time, so I'm going to be whizzing through.
No more questions so far, but we'll stop at a few minutes and then go through any.
Okay. I think I've just, let me go back to my PowerPoint because I just want to see whether I've covered everything that I had on there. So presenter from the current. I've gone over the main features. Okay, there. Yeah. So let's sort of move on. Right. This is the last slide that I've got. Obviously, I wanted to hear from you as well. What is your biggest concern? What are you facing with your email marketing? These are just a few things that I put down. The budget, especially, it's a really difficult one because charities are very, very limited. That's why our aim is to help you out as much as possible. We've got our free offers and our discounted rates. The lack of knowledge and training, yeah, that's a difficult one because charities are very tight sometimes with their staffing. That's why our support is really good because we will help you all the training that you need. Dotdigital have got a great knowledge base resource hub, absolutely fantastic. You can just go in there, type anything in, and it will bring it up as well. Now, the growth and engagement goals, this is something that comes up quite often. How can I grow? How can I engage better? You've got to be doing sort of practical things, always sending out those thank you emails, optimizing your subject titles. You've got to prioritize your calls to action as well. Are they at the top? Is that all important button to be there? Growth, use your sign-up forms. You've got to, the next one is the integration with social media. Obviously, you've got to entwine that with that. Personalize. Really, engagement is really to do with personalization as well. You need to know, your supporters quite well, and just going down to the integration with social media. Use your social media links. Use your follow. If it's okay to use your sharing, then put those in your campaign, and then your email recipients can share your campaign on their social media networks. Add subscribe links, forms into your socials as well. Promote your campaign in your social profile headers does help a lot. Now, a lot of people say they have quite low visibility into email performance. And again, this is generally due to time constraints. So you really need to have a really deep dive into your reporting. Look at your bounces, look at the hard and soft bounces. Why are they bouncing? Look at the delivery problems that you're having there, and correct it and make changes. And I would probably say that you need to be doing that definitely on a monthly basis if you're sending out, regularly. You need to be relevant and targeted. So important, because we are bombarded. As I told you, we get so many emails. Every day we're bombarded. You have to be relevant. That subject title really has to identify and pull the strings on the person that they are going to be receiving, so they open it up. And again, this is where your segmentation comes into play. You need to analyze your email recipients' behavior, what they want to receive by way of a preference center when they're signing up or unsubscribing, so they can opt in and opt out of different channels and communication. And this is obviously, we've spoken about that, the digital inclusion awareness. Most clients, like I've said, sort of aren't really aware how important this is. A screen reader, like I've said, sort of reads everything out. You need your alt text there. You need to think about your color contrast. You need to think about all sorts of things with your buttons. Does it fit in with your organization's branding? But how does it fit in with your inclusion, digital inclusion as well? And there are lots of resources out there, and AbilityNet actually does some really good workshops on how you can get up to speed with that digital inclusion. Now, your spam filters, this is a question that is always asked. How can we avoid spam filters? Well, it is a good thing actually to have them in place. 45% of the world's emails in January last year, I haven't got this year's ones yet, but it was unsolicited mail. It was 45% was spam. That's a huge amount. So they do provide us with a vital service of protecting our inboxes from malware. And they do help to make sure that those essential messages sort of aren't drowned by spam. I would say just a few things. I would say delete your old email addresses that aren't engaging with you. So go back over the last 6 months. Are they engaging? Just take them out, because that will affect your reputation at the end of the day. Use a spam checker before you send it out. Watch your subject title wording as well. Top webmail providers have stated that they look how emails are opened and how many are deleted as a factor in spam filtering decisions. Okay, so you want to be sort of, you want to be sending to those people that do want to receive from you, and you want to obviously have a good ISP service with a good domain. And if you're finding that you're getting really low open rates, then I'll probably say, hey, what is your custom from address? Maybe you need to have a look at that. So I'll be really interested to know, what are your biggest challenges for the people that we've got on board? Before we wrap up with any more questions that we've got, maybe you just want to put it in the chat, and we can just, if anybody wants to speak as well, you can do that. If not, we can crack on with questions, if there are any.
One thing that someone has said is time and being resourceful.
Time of being resourceful. I guess it's initially what you really need to know is what goal you have in mind. With a good ISP, then you can actually, once you know the platform, set up an email so quickly, schedule it with your automation. You can save so much time with that as well. It just depends whether you've got a clunky system or not, and how much time you're actually taking to edit it.
Yeah, I mean, good software should improve efficiencies and processes, not slow it down. But yeah, we absolutely recognize as a charity ourselves, you know, we're not always able to dedicate the resource to it, to even researching the right software, implementing it. It's really difficult.
Yeah, it is, definitely. Yeah, time is always, I mean, we're all so pushed, aren't we, in the charity sector? Yeah, it is a big one. So I don't know whether we've got any more questions, Alice.
I don't think we do, other than comparing the experience of MailChimp and dotdigital. I know you've touched on some of it, including the reporting you think being more detailed on dotdigital. But if anyone else as well, feel free to put your cameras on, and getting a nice ray of sunshine through at the minute. If anyone, if you feel free to put your cameras on or unmute, or answer in the chat if you've got experience of both. We understand we might be biased, but
I mean, look, the thing with MailChimp is it's cheap. It is cheap, but it's probably one of the biggest platforms all over the world. So it is used a lot by spammers. And what happens with MailChimp is, what the difference with dotdigital is, you can just create your own custom from address and you can run with that. And that's what lots of spammers do. They purchase an address, they use it, and they spam using MailChimp as well. And you could be actually placed in a pool where there's a bad sending reputation. That's the only thing I'd probably say with MailChimp. Dotdigital say, hey, if you want a custom from address, then you can't use your live domain, because if there's any problems with that, with spamming or anything, then it goes down under investigation. And that you would need to set up a subdomain to actually use your custom from address. So I would say that's a big difference between dotdigital and MailChimp, is the domain, the custom from address that you can use. Mm-hmm. Does anyone else have any sort of anything that they would like to share with MailChimp in particular, and any issues that they had?
You just had a very interesting, thank you. I mean, I would also advise looking up comparative sites of this stuff as well, just making sure you're not hearing maybe our perspective, which might be more biased. But even I was just looking up comparing dotdigital and MailChimp, and actually dotdigital scored higher, and that was an independent review site. So I always think, as I'm head of operations at Charity Digital, and I have to procure a lot of the software that we implement to ensure that we are answering our charities in a timely fashion, so that I can run analytics and reports and find out what our customer service team are getting asked by our charities. So tech is really important to me, and something I do is I do a lot of research, and I try to set out with the goal of the functionality I need and what I want, why I want to use the system, and then compare different systems and their functionality. So hopefully that will give you a starting point.
Something that I will say with MailChimp as well, and we've had quite a few clients that have come over and said that MailChimp is great, it's fantastic, and I understand that absolutely loads of organizations are using it, and they're using it really, really well, but it's the support that they really, really appreciate when they come to us, because they've got the individual, not the chat box, we could just pop on a call or on a Zoom or anything, and they have really, really appreciated that I can sort of understand their issues and their requirements, and that's something that is a value in gold as well.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I've definitely heard that feedback as well. Sometimes when you use the bigger systems, or you just feel lost in the support model, you're never going to get a response, or you're never going to get that personable relationship. But yeah, Liz solely works on dotdigital and the mail marketing. So yes, don't undersell yourself, Liz. I know that everybody really values your support. So.
Thank you, Alice. That's great. Okay.
Other questions? As we said before, the recording of the webinar and the resources will be shared, including the questions and the answers. And Liz, do you have a slide with your email address on? Otherwise, I can pop.
I do. There it is. Yeah, excellent. There it is. I didn't put the thank you one on, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone for taking the time to join us today out of your busy schedules, and thank you for listening. And there's my contact details.